you have returned. I thought a lot about what you said. I trust you. Still do. You are one of the few I can confide in. I wish to ask you, why? Why am I here? I understand why I was arrested, but Duvos invaded. Matilda took over, and yet I remained in prison, in captivity. Why was I discarded? It surprises me not that Penn betrayed me. He was sent to observe my actions and cared not for me, nor I of him. But Matilda, I did not know she was a member of Duvos. She was sympathetic to my views while we were studying. She did not agree per se, but she understood me, listened to me. It is clear in retrospect, she was simply observing my conversion. Even that being said, why would she abandon me? Perhaps you are right. Perhaps she was never my friend, or believed in my cause. When I was in the cell with Penn and LeFou, I listened to their ramblings. LeFou did not seem to hold the same beliefs as I. He wanted more land for his people, but he did not care about the future of the human race. In fact, he did not even seem to believe in anything. I tried to share my views with him, to find some common ground, but he was far too concerned with arm-wrestling Penn. These troops were not the saviors I was expecting. Matilda. I am still shocked she was in such a position at all. I have been pondering this myself. I have some theories, however I do not know her true intentions. I believe Matilda is a true tactician. While I was only aware of the water plan, she had designs far above my level. When my plan was foiled by Logan, she needed to maintain her cover and ensure the town trusted her. I suppose her goals were with a small shot in the shoulder. Risky, but calculated. She could not afford for Penn to let anything slip, or for suspicion to also fall upon her. Of course, this is simply an educated guess. I have not spoken with her since my arrest. I really believed we were friends. That being said, there are still some parts of the plan that give me so much doubt. Why did they conceal their intentions from me? What were they doing in the north? So I was a pawn. I was told what I was doing was to protect everyone. That when Duvos eventually took over, they'd protect everyone from the dangers of the past. But they were excavating the ruins for these old-world relics. These weapons of war. The irony. Now, if that is all, that is something that will haunt me. I am no killer. I think, while I believed I was doing the right thing, a part of me was still thrilled to be fooling everyone. The desire for triumph got to my head. And when I was found out, hubris caused me to lose my mind. A cornered beast will lash out. That is not a justification. At that moment, I believed everything I had worked for was falling apart. I saw red, and the next thing I knew, I heard the gunshot ring out. Every night since, I have seen that scene play out in my mind. I seek not forgiveness. There is no such forgiveness. I'll regret this for the rest of my life. Builder, I have once again been left with much to think about. Thank you. We may not be aligned philosophically. Perhaps you even hate me. But I value our conversations. You have returned. I thought a lot about I trust you. I wish to ask you. I understand why I was arrested, but it surprises me not that Penn betrayed me. But Matilda, it is clear in retrospect. When I was in the cell, in fact, Matilda, I am still shocked. Simply because some soldiers on the ground are ignorant does not mean the ideology is tainted. I believe in order. I believe that humans truly need to unite under one flag to protect us from our own destruction. I hope Matilda also believed. I do not think someone would do so much if they did not believe. That being said, there are still some parts of the plan that give me so much doubt. Why did they conceal their... I cannot believe that is the case. I was working towards a peaceful future for the world, but they were excavating these weapons of war. Now, if that is all, Builder, I have once again been left with much to think about. You have returned. I thought a lot. I trust you. I wish to ask. I understand why I was arrested, but perhaps... I doubt Penn has reasons for many of his actions. I never saw him as an ideological type. Too... self-possessed. Narcissistic. But Matilda... I did not know she was a member of Duvos. It is clear in retrospect. When I was in fact, Matilda, I am still shocked she was in such a position. Quite. I do not expect every soldier on the ground to be a shepherd of the flock. That being said, there are still some parts of the plan, perhaps. I still have many questions of my own. Now, if that is all, Builder...
I've been in contact with the Alliance Council, and I just can't in good faith recommend anything other than the full extent of the law. Transfer to the Atara Maximum Security Prison. You betrayed us, and have shown no sign of remorse. I will contact the authorities and organize the transport.
I accept all punishment, Trudy, and will abide accordingly.
Then, I will keep you informed of the date of your departure. I just can't understand it. Why?
It's no excuse, but I did what I believed was right.
But this town, everyone living here, after all you did for us, everything you said in your sermons, you kept us safe, your guidance. I even trusted you to teach my daughter. I thought you cared.
I truly do.
Please, don't give me that.
No. I was not used. I was betrayed. My actions were my own, and I am no one's puppet. I will face all the consequences with dignity.
Well, thank you for your cooperation.
You said that the water was a cover for their true intentions. I have been taken for a fool. This I realize now more than ever. I truly thought Duvos wanted the same thing as me. That they were on the right side of history. But their actions do not correlate to the proclamations they gave me. Recently, I have been grasping at something, anything, that would validate my actions since I have been in Sandrock. The more I searched, the more I came to only one truth. There was nothing. My handlers were simply telling me what they wanted me to believe. I must have been simply a diversion. If I could have pushed everyone out of Sandrock, then Duvos could excavate the ruins in secrecy. My arrest threw a proverbial wrench into the works, and it appears to have pushed their hand. I was then left to rot. They never cared about me. They never cared about my ideals. I was a fool. When I was of age, I left to study in Madi. My family were believers in the light, and I dreamed of spreading the word. I always feared the day of calamity. Feared the light being extinguished once more. I quickly befriended Matilda. She was older than me, working as a tutor in the guided study sessions. I remember when I first met her, when I attended her session the first time. She was helping a group of students with their questions on faith. She was kind, understanding. Whenever I disagreed with the doctrine of the church, she listened. Later, I started to feel that the teachings were not enough. The Church of the Light has an unwavering trust in people above all else. It's the individual people that got the human race through the age of darkness. This is why you see Sandrock being somewhat loose with Age of Corruption technology. I am somewhat more pessimistic about human nature. Allowing humans freedom to pursue their vanities is what led to the day of calamity. Those around me in the church did not take the teaching seriously. Even the deacon. It was as if they had forgotten the sins of our forefathers. During my studies, I became depressed. I drifted further from the teachings, became isolated, and found myself more radical. Then, an agent from Duvos made contact. The things they told me. That Duvos would regulate technology. Everything I heard aligned with my beliefs. They wanted structure. They wanted to ensure no one else ever lost their lives. They wanted to ensure the safety of humanity. I see now in retrospect, Matilda used my grief against me. She was conditioning me. She must have told an agent of my wavering faith and guided their hand from the background. While I was studying at Madi, my town was destroyed. I'm from DOS. I'm a child of the lost city. Our existence was always a delicate balance. Being a town skirting the border of the peripheries, we were aware of the dangers, but largely went unbothered. As I went to study in Madi, I bid my hometown farewell, though kept in regular contact. It may surprise you, but I took part in many of the onboarding activities and was a strong advocate for the church school. It seems strange to reflect on that now. During my studies, DOS was attacked by a creature from the peripheries. It happened overnight, without warning. Everyone in town was killed. My parents. My brother. You cannot imagine it. My entire town destroyed by a monster in the blink of an eye. Just thinking about what my people went through. It is truly harrowing. The depths of despair cannot comprehend what my family endured. I pray that it was quick. When the news was announced at school, I felt everyone's eyes on me. They were fixed, filled with an empty pity. I fell into a trance. simply glided through the halls, unable to process what had happened. I needed to talk, to confront it. Where were the Rangers or the Civil Corps? How did we not see it coming? How could the Alliance let this happen? The questions burned into my mind. I sought answers, but people avoided me, said I was too intense. Within a week, people were laughing again, enjoying themselves. They'd all forgotten already. Countless lives lost, yet they returned to their lives again as if nothing had happened. Everyone simply avoided me further, except for Matilda. Sheeless, I fell into the darkness. I sunk into the questions that were burning on my tongue. How could the Alliance let this happen? How are we allowing the sins of our forefathers leave us in ruin? How could the Free City simply abandon us? I expected a rescue. I expected the Rangers to search and destroy that monster from the peripheries, but no. They saw it as a lost cause and moved on. My family were not even buried. They were left there for the wilds to consume. It was then that my heart was blackened to the Alliance, that my thoughts started to drift. I was vulnerable. I was lost. I was found by Matilda and led astray. She would encourage me to think independently, to question myself. She said my fears were valid, that I was a fiercely independent thinker. And while she did not agree with me, she valued my beliefs. I now believe she was taking note of my doubts, and behind closed doors crafting a narrative that reciprocated my beliefs. A narrative she then passed on to handlers. It was no mere coincidence that I was sold a beautiful vision of Duvos. I should have seen this sooner, but I was blinded by their words. It answered all of my questions. It appears so. All that I took for Duvos ideals were simply my own being reflected back to me. In that light, what I have done to Sandrock is unforgivable. It is only now that the blinds have been pulled back. I must face my actions head on. I still believe that we as a species need to control our desires to pursue unfettered technology. DOS must not happen again. However, that does not excuse what I did. I have wronged the people of this town and the Free Cities. I must accept penance for my actions. I must take this as a time for personal growth. Thank you for coming to see me all this time.
I've been in contact. You
I accept all.
been. I just can't
It's no excuse.
this town. I thought.
I truly do.
Please, don't give me that. You see, Miguel, you betrayed us all. You have such a big heart and always see the good in everyone. I really admire that. But you have to realize, he's a lost cause. Don't let him get inside your head.
You said that the water was a cover for their true intentions. I have been taken for a fool. This I realized recently. There was nothing. My handlers, my arrest through a proverb. I was then left to rot. They never cared about. No, they did not. I have thought about this repeatedly since our last meeting, and if they truly believed in me, then things would not have happened like this. I fell for their lies. When I was of age, I left to study in Meidi. I quickly befriended Matilda. She was kind, understanding. I did not suspect Matilda to be anything other than a devout follower of the light. Her allegiance was as much of a surprise to me as to you. Her study group set her apart from the other tutors. She was loved, particularly by the staff. Somewhat of a teacher's pet. She was bright-eyed and optimistic. I am somewhat more pessimistic about those around me, and during my study, everything I see now in retrospect. Well, I was studying in Meidi, DOS. I am a child of the lost city. Our existence was always a delicate balance. As I went to study in Meidi, it seemed strange to reflect. During my studies, you cannot imagine it. When the news was announced at school, where were the Rangers? Within a week, everyone simply I fell into the dark. I expected a rest. It was then that she would encourage me. I now believe she was taking. I should have seen this sooner. But I was blinded by their words. Quite. I think of myself as a rather well put together man. But it seems that even those with grand designs may act the fool. Everything they told me, I believed. My Duvos ideals were simply my own being reflected back to me. In that light, it is only now that the blind. I still believe that we as a. However, thank you for coming to see.
I've been in contact. You betrayed.
I accept all
Then I will. I just can't.
It's no excuse.
But this town, I thought.
I truly do.
Please, don't give me that.
You said that the water I have been taken for recently. There was nothing. My handlers, my arrest through a. I was then left to rot. When I was of age, I quickly befriended. She was kind, understanding. I did not suspect her study group set her up. She was bright-eyed, and I am somewhat more. Those around me during my studies, everything I see now in retrospect. Until you. Well, I was DOS. I am a child of the lost city. I understand that some use comedy to punctuate uncomfortable moments. Our existence was always a delicate balance. As I went to study in Meidi, it seemed strange to. During my studies, you cannot imagine it. When the news was announced, where were the Rangers? Within a week, everyone simply I fell into the dark. I expected a rescue. It was then that she would encourage me. I now believe she would. I should have seen this sooner. But I was blinded by quite. It is no surprise she managed to operate under our noses this whole time. All that I believed was Duvos ideals. It is only now that the blind. I still believe that we. However, thank you for coming to.
Pride teaches us to forgive. If we can't grow, then who are we as a people?
You have been sounding more like a minister every day, Burgess. Sandrock is lucky to have someone as pure as you.
Well, as much as you deny it, I know you were always preaching from the heart.
I was preaching what I believed. But even then, in my pursuit of my ideal, I ended up precipitating the very thing I was trying to prevent. I wronged you, Burgess. I led you astray. Took advantage of you.
That's in the past now, Miguel. Besides, I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for you. For better or for worse, I can't regret the past. We can only look forward into the future.
Well, let me impart one last bit of wisdom to you. Sometimes, even when you're so very, very sure, you still need to reflect and ask the tough questions. I have given this much thought while I have been in here. And even though I clung so hard to my ideal of an orderly world, what right did I have to force it on anyone else? That makes me no better than the fools who caused the day of calamity. You okay? I'm glad to see you. Burgess was giving me one last sermon on forgiveness.
I've seen Miguel's growth. He's not the man he used to be. He's seen the error of his ways. But now they still want to lock him up forever.
I told you, Burgess. I seek not forgiveness. I have to face what I have done. Don't shed a tear for me. I will be fine.
If I pour out your water because you poured out my water, then no one has any water to drink. I can see how much you've changed. If we let you just rot in a box, then who are we? See? Everyone makes mistakes, Miguel. Your way was flawed, but you still had our best interest at heart. Your past and some Duvos lies just led you to make some rash decisions.
No. You have both been a sliver of light in my incarceration. I am glad I have you both with me in my final moments before leaving to meet my fate.
This isn't right.
This is as it shall be. Acceptance of one's wrongs does not free one from guilt. And Burgess, don't be a hypocrite. You yourself always stood for upholding the rules. Don't make the exception for me. Thank you, truly, for being here with me.
We have to do something. We can't let him go like this. Yes, I'm a stickler for the rules, but maybe I'm not completely right. I knew you'd agree with me. We can't just let him suffer. He's a victim in this too. He needs a second chance to right his wrongs, or a good man will go to waste. Forever. So, shall we go and talk to Trudy?
Hello, Burgess. How can I help you?
Mayor, we're here to request you stop the transfer of Miguel to Atara. He's changed.
Changed?
I wanted to say he was tricked by Duvos, manipulated by Matilda, and he was. But no, he's just very sad nowadays. He wanted something that's not his to decide. And now that he's acknowledged the destruction he's left behind, he's broken.
Go on.
He's not innocent, but he's also not a bad man. He was a victim of circumstances.
Did he ask you to...
No, he told us he wants to face his crimes. I just think it's not right.
Burgess, you...
Mayor Trudy, I implore you. Let Miguel face his punishment, but here in Sandrock, where he can face everyone he's wronged and atone for what he's done. Don't let him rot in a cell forever. Every fiber of my being is telling me that's not right.
What do you think of all of this? So even the builder agrees. I trust you, although my gut is telling me this is a bad idea. I will cancel the transfer to Atara. We can supervise him for a little longer in Sandrock Prison, and then I will entrust him to you, Burgess.
You can count on me, Mayor Trudy. He'll be good. I'll vouch for him.
Look, we can't take this lightly. If I see any sign of him falling back into his old ways...
Then I'll take the responsibility.
Okay. For now, he'll work under you. The Civil Corps will come up with a plan for his punishment.
You can count on us, Trudy!
Prove to me that this isn't a bad idea. If there's anyone that can pull it off, it's you two. We'll make the preparations, and I'll make an announcement soon. Let's first try and get the groundwork set up quietly, so as not to make too many waves around town.
You got it, Mayor!
What a pleasant surprise. I did not expect to see you again before I left. Trudy has cancelled my transfer after everything I have done. He should not need to hold that burden. It is moving. Even after all I have done, for Sandrock to welcome me back, to open its arms in forgiveness. Perhaps I was wrong to be so bleak. There is good in man. Thank you for everything. I will pass the rest of my time in peace, and aim to do as much good as I can to pay back the second chance I have been given. I look forward to my time under Burgess's tutelage. I believe there is much I can learn from him. Thank you again for everything.
I've been in contact. You've been...
I accept.
I just can't
It's no
put this down. I thought...
I truly do.
Please, don't give me... You see, Miguel, you betrayed us all. You have such...
You said that the water I had been taken recently. There was nothing. My arrest. I was then left to rot. When I was of it, I quickly... She was kind. The Church of the... I am somewhat... Those around during my... Everything I see... Well, I was lost. Our existence. I went to... It seems during my... You cannot... When the news... Where were the rate... Within a week. Everyone's... I fell into... I expected it was that she would incur... I now believe she... Quite. It is only... I still believe... However, thank you for coming.